Welcome back to Nutrition Tips. Topic for today, this week, is why does nutrition matter for young athletes? Why is it important? Why should we care? I just did a whole podcast episode talking about this that I highly recommend everyone listen to, whether you're a parent or an athlete. Just goes into some more depth on why it all matters, why we should be talking about it, why we should care about it. And so I just wanted to share some of the key points in this video and kind of share some of the takeaways. You can find that podcast on In the Flow, wherever you get podcasts. Just search for In the Flow. I'll also put a link in the little box thing down below. But yeah, for the most part, I think it's just important to kind of zoom out, set the stage. It's November. The race season is quickly approaching. This is the time that we really need to start dialing in all of the things, our equipment, our skis, making sure we have all of our equipment, all of our warm clothes are out of the storage and bringing it to practice, our sleep, getting that dialed, being able to balance our schoolwork and our social lives and stuff. All of these things need to be taken a little bit more seriously, as we've talked about, and I think it's paramount to also include nutrition and how, what, why we're eating. And so just wanted to kind of share, some of my thoughts on that point, because as we approach the race season and the winter, and we're going to be working really hard, we need to be taking our nutrition a little bit more seriously in order to support all of the hard work we're doing. And it's easy to sort of focus on sleep and training, but I also think that nutrition is just as key of an aspect for our health and performance as those other two things. So first off, kind of piggybacking off of that, is just that we have to have a foundation of good health in order to have good performance. And I know that sounds kind of obvious, but that should be the number one focus first and foremost. And so figuring out how to eat in a way that's going to support our health and our immune system and our mental health by including a lot of really good whole foods in our diets and our lives, and eating really delicious food with our friends and family, learning how to cook, and having good balance and variety and color across all of our meals is going to be the foundation for good times and good performance nutrition, good performances out on the ski trails. And so starting off with that is really important. Number two, similar to that, is that a lot of athletes, we want to focus on the top of the pyramid, right? We're so excited about performance. We're so excited about being the best and doing everything that we possibly can. And so it's really shiny up at the top of the pyramid. And instead we need to focus on building up from the base. And just like good health is a foundation for good performance, the base of performance nutrition, whatever you want to call it, is getting enough energy to support our health and our performance. And so that means eating enough throughout the day, eating really nourishing, satisfying, fueling meals that are going to keep us going from breakfast all the way into practice and into recovery mode afterwards. Race day nutrition, getting enough energy throughout the week of a training camp, things like that. And I talk a lot about that in the podcast, but for the most part, that means just eating a lot of good quality foods that have high amounts of carbohydrate, protein, fat across the day, eating every few hours, not missing meals, instead of focusing on the shiny stuff at the top, like supplements, silly things like intermittent fasting and all this nonsense that we see online. It's easy to forget the foundation, the base. It's like trying to worry about the sprinkles when we haven't even baked the cake yet. Number three is just sort of, again, refreshing in our mind, recognizing that there's much more to performance as an athlete and success and health than one single factor like body weight. And I think it's easy to get caught up in that world, focus really a lot on that. And when we think about nutrition, think about sports nutrition, it's about calories, it's about weight, it's about power to weight ratio and all these things, when in fact, as my good friend and sports nutrition colleague Yuri Carlson always talks about, it doesn't matter what you look like, it matters what your body is doing. It's easy to get sucked into that trap of overemphasizing the role that weight has in sport. It obviously does play a role, but there's so many other factors like, fueling training sessions and races properly, getting good sleep, getting good recovery, managing our nutrient intake so that we're having enough iron in our diets, things like that. And I talk a lot about in the podcast just how I think we need to reframe this conversation to be talking more about that and not getting so single-mindedly focused on one factor, because I just want you all to be fueling your training and racing goals and feeling really good from a mental health and physical health and performance standpoint. And that really comes from, again, seeing the whole picture, zooming out. So that's kind of all I really wanted to share, is just a few points on why nutrition matters. You're all growing still. You're all developing into amazing humans, amazing athletes, and starting to think at this time of year about, okay, how can I start taking this a little bit seriously? It doesn't mean I need to go from 0 to 100 and just going from eating junk food all day into eating some perfect, ideal diet. It means making those decisions throughout the course of the day. Do I have a snack with me for in between school and practice? Do I have a solid plan for breakfast when I wake up, or do I just rush through my morning, forget to eat breakfast, and then suffer the consequences when we have intervals that afternoon? And so it's about planning. It's about asking questions. It's about practicing, experimenting, and just being curious about it and recognizing its importance, just like you do filling out your training log and showing up to practice and trying to get your skis waxed and all those things. So let's start having that conversation. Let's start making it a big part of our routine so that by the time we hit the first big races of the season, you're already dialed. And that's what I really hope. So definitely go check out the podcast. I have a cool nutrition guide for the team coming out very soon, finishing that up. So look forward to that. And that'll give a lot more good context and info and stuff. But in the meantime, please don't hesitate to ask me questions, reach out, connect with me. And I'm here to help. I want to support all of you in this, and it's obviously a big passion of mine. So thanks for watching. Have a good week, and I'll see you in the next nutrition tip video. Out.